Let's
Time
go.
to get some flip-flops out. We're in Puerto Rico. It's very hot here. I don't need this sweatshirt anymore.
We've made it to the venue, the Coliseo Ruben Zayas Montañas here in Puerto Rico. Just got checked in for the event. Super excited. Should be about 400 masters. I think about there tomorrow, so gonna be a fun day. We're matching. Alright, I started opening this pack for fun, and I said, dang it, why didn't I open it on camera? Because I'm pretty sure there's something in here. Nothing so far. Master Ball Zatu.
Let's go.
But wait. SIR Goldango.
Let's go.
You got a skateboarder?
And a pop.
Let's go, baby.
The next day.
People out here. A couple hundred people out here. Quite a line.
All right, we're here in Puerto Rico
A couple hundred people out here.
for day one. Quite a line
Quite a line.
behind me to check in.
A couple hundred people out here.
We checked in yesterday, so we're all good.
Quite a line.
Cody and I are on the same 60 playing like a Pokestop, Badoo, Dusknoir, Charizard deck.
Quite a line.
In our testing, it seemed really good, so hoping that that testing works out and we can do well in the event today. But should be 8 rounds day one, 5-2-1 record to make day two. Day two should be 2 rounds with a cut, ASIM cut to top 8. Yeah, so hoping things go well for us here in Puerto Rico. The weather's great. Rained this morning, so it cooled down a little bit, but feeling very good about this event.
Quite a line.
All right, we are here in the venue in Puerto Rico. It's a pretty cool venue. It's like an arena, so there's arena seating all the way around it. The juniors and seniors are playing up top in like this balcony section up here, and then the masters are on the floor down here. So pretty cool venue. Excited to get going here in a few minutes. Just got done with round one here in Puerto Rico. Played against Gardevoir, favored matchup. I misplayed in game one, unfortunately, which made me lose, and then game two I just bricked. Didn't do anything turn 1, 2, 3, 4, anything like that. So that's all right. We're gonna get the next one. We had to go 5, 2, and 1 to make day two. So we're still in it by a lot. Got 7 rounds left. Started pretty late today, so I don't know how quickly this day is gonna go. Unfortunate to start with a round 1 loss, but we'll get there. So just finished round 2 here in Puerto Rico. Hit another Gardevoir, and this time the round went how my matchup against Gardevoir is supposed to go. Won against them pretty easily. Game 2, I actually bricked, and I just scooped on turn 2 because I had won a good game 1, and I knew the matchup was good if I get to choose second especially. So we went into game 3. I chose second, and I won on turn 2. Dusknoir KO'd a Ralts and a Drifloon, and then all he had was a Gardevoir EX to send up, and I knocked it out with Charizard. So I'm really happy to be here 1-1 in Puerto Rico, hoping to keep it going and just win the next 6. What's going on, guys? Just finished round 3 here in Puerto Rico, and we won. We hit a Raging Bolt, lost game 1, just didn't quite get the pieces together. Had to squawk away 2 rare candies turn 1. That's really bad, but we're able to win game 2 and 3. We're expecting those turbo matchups to be a very good matchup for the deck. Obviously, Charizard's usually pretty good into like the Raging Bolts and Miraidons and that sort of stuff. So what's going on, guys? Just finished round 4 here in Puerto Rico. So halfway through the day, we're doing 8 rounds today. Hit my 3rd Guardian of the day. That's a great matchup. So was able to get there. So we are 3-1 right now. Need to win 2 more to get to that like 5 plus a tie record to make it into day 2. Hopefully we do better than that and just win out for the rest of the day. So stay tuned.
Puerto Rico is so far going pretty well. I am 101 playing the Badoo, Dusknoir, Charizard deck. A lot of favorables floating around, a lot of Guardies floating around. We want to hit those. I'm finding out our Chaladon's a little dicey, but I tied one early. I hit a Dragapult this last round. Matchup's fine. There's nothing that we're really trying to dodge. Well, we're trying to dodge Lugia, but Lugia's not real. It's fake news deck. We are a couple hours behind though on schedule. Maybe not a couple hours, but a good 1 hour behind. So we're gonna have plenty of time to catch up with everyone between each round as we go. We just finished up at Puerto Rico. I did okay, got some points, a little bit closer to World's Invite potentially. Excited for London next week. Potentially running back the same 60 or something close to it for that event also. Deck felt very good. There's maybe a card or two I would think about changing, but overall very happy with the weekend and how it went.
The next day.
We are here in Puerto Rico, headed to a castle that's on the beach, which is super sick.
My precious!
I hate you.
Sorry to make you do that.
I hate you.
Not that sorry.
I hate you. All right, something cool. I hate you. Monkey Dory. Quite a line. We got an Umbreon. Just a regular guy. I hate you. Weatherman Cody back with the weather update from Puerto Rico. There seems to be a storm on the way. We're gonna go get something to eat and call it a good night. I hate you.
All right, I'm opening a Battle Partners pack because Cody and Williams both sucked. So we'll see if mine's good. Pack Trick, one to the front. That guy, Corviknight, Coughing, Shelgon, Caterpie, Hop's Bag.
We
What the
suck!
heck is this?
I think 3 does 240 for 11. I know it can blank better. Charizard, if you have everything.
Why are you throwing stuff on the floor?
Because it's garbage.
Is that the good save?
Ends Castle, though, is cool.
That's not ours.
Ends.
Kling Clang.
Big one. Ooh, there's something back here. Lotad. He has a mustache. Bagon. The best card in the pack, Shuppet. And ends Zoroark.
Gotta pull the full art Ends Zoroark that has the wrong texture on it, because apparently that's like the most expensive card in the set.
The wrong texture.
Yeah, it's like the
Oh,
texture
yeah,
from-
I saw that thing. What the heck?
Yo, that's sick.
It's a Noibat. He's sleeping.
You're in the noise.
Eating radishes.
Yeah, that's part of their Pokedex entry.
That's
It's
a part of their lore.
His name's Nick Guzman.
I'm the Guzma, the moose on the loose, and I'm opening a pack.
Rastal Festival, Japanese.
God pack.
Dude, if you get the God pack, that's gonna be so sick.
T-Man.
If you pull the
Nope.
Umbreon, you have to rip it. You're in the noise.
Got a Koraidon. Sylveon. That's cool. I don't know how these work. Am I done? Did
Keep going.
I iron blowed it.
There you go. Very nice.
Did I do that right?
You did great. You did an awesome job. We're here at the beach, kinda. Cody's gonna open up. All right. No longer a PSA 10.
They're not gonna like your content if you try to eat it.
How are you doing?
Oh, it's pretty good.
Just got done with round 1 of day 2, so I guess round 9 of the event. Got 2-0 to buy a Dragapult Dusknoir. They won the coin flip, so they went second. That's a pretty bad thing. You definitely want to go second in that matchup. And I also bricked game 1. I had Pheasantipity start, Ultra Ball in hand, had to just like squawk away Rare Candy, Night Stretcher, Charizard, just to get anything going, and I didn't even hit a Buddy Poffin off that, so my board after turn 1 was Fez active, Squawk on the bench, and a Charmander, so really bad start in game 1. And then game 2 was going really well, and then I Ionoed him to 3, and off of that 3, he was able to get Counter Catcher, Rescue Board, and Badoo, and Counter Catcher my Arceus V-Star, and Badoo it. Didn't have any energy on it, so I was just like hoping to draw into my energies to attach retreat over the course of 2 turns, and just didn't get there. I had Switch in hand, but obviously I was Badooed, so couldn't use it. So rough round 9, but hopefully a win in round 10 can still get us top 32. Not sure about that. Probably going to be a top 64 even with a win, but top 64, we'll take it.
Tom got paired against Ryan G from upstate New York for the last round.
We are in the Uber on our way to day 2 here in Puerto Rico. Cody got bodied yesterday by some very unfortunate ties, but we same 60'd, both did really well. Cody got top 128. Could have been 64 potentially if he played out the last one, but it would have been close. So, yeah. But I'm in day 2. Currently, there's 52 people in day 2. I ID'd my way in at 16 match points. So that might mean I can't make top 8, but going 2-0 today should lock up top 16, which would be a great finish. So we'll see how it goes.
The next day.
What's up, guys? Just finished day 2 in here in Puerto Rico. I know I skipped a few rounds in terms of updates, but I ended up 5-2-1, headed into day 2. Lost a tough one. My second loss was to Cloth Terrathagos. That matchup's pretty good. I got a DPL because I was stupid and I Pokestopped twice in a long turn. Didn't realize I'd already Pokestopped. Tried to do it again. Oh well. Got a DPL. And then game 3, he just Badoo locked me like crazy. I just couldn't do anything. I didn't find any supporters. I prized like 4 of them. And we only played 9, so that's a lot. And then I beat a Miraidon and another Miraidon. And then ID'd a Lugia. Lugia's kind of a tough matchup, so happy with that ID into day 2. Have a very small chance that if I go 2-0 tomorrow, I can still make top 8, but guaranteed top 64, I think now, and then hopefully at least a top 16, if not potentially a top 8. So excited for tomorrow. What's going on, guys? Just finished day 2 here in Puerto Rico. Ended up 33rd, so bubbled out of top 32. That's fine. Happy with the top 64 finish. That puts me around 460 points for the season with only 2 of my major event BFLs filled. So should be fine for the World's Invite still, like on a good pace as long as the season continues to go well. So we're headed home today. We're headed to the airport. Gonna get some Popeyes at the airport, and it's gonna be sick.
Hello everyone, this is Cody coming to you with a deck profile on the deck that Tom and I played to the Puerto Rico special event this past weekend. Tom is currently playing. I had an unfortunate tie that kicked me out of day 2, but that's the way it went. I'm going to go over our deck, explain some of the logic behind some things that's in there. This is not a very regular deck. It's not something that you would call common. Tom and I were the only people playing it, which is always kind of fun. It makes it so that when you're playing, your opponents really don't understand what your strategy is or what you're trying to do. A lot of people thought we were just playing a Charizard deck. There happens to be a Charizard in it, but it's not really a Charizard deck. It's actually a Badoo deck. So Badoo does not look too cool. He only has 30 HP. Only does 10 damage, but the most important thing that he does is he stops your opponent from playing any item cards. So all we're trying to do is we're trying to choose to not go first. We want to be able to attack on our first turn. So we want to be able to attack with Itchy Pollen so that our opponent can't play any item cards really at all. We want to use typically both of these. One will eventually die. If it doesn't die, we can just keep attacking with it over and over and over again. But that can be very oppressive to a lot of strategies. It makes it so other Charizard decks can't rare candy into Charizard. It makes it so that no decks can play their Ultra Balls or any other ball cards to get their Pokemon into play. So we really just want to lock them out. And then we actually want to use Dusknoir to take a lot of our prizes. Get them all up in here. Get the whole squad. We're playing 3 of these. We're playing a 4-2-3 line. That means we're playing 4 Duskulls, 2 Dusclops, and then 3 Dusknoirs. Dusclops, you can choose to KO it, so you give up a prize card, which is important. We'll talk about why that's important later. But you give up a prize card to place 50 damage on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So there's a few Pokemon that you can KO with this, but really it's just a conduit to evolve into Dusknoir. We're playing 2 because we expect Badoo to be pretty popular in other people's decks also. Maybe not the focal point like it is in ours, but we do expect them to be there. Notably, you can pop a Dusclops to KO a Badoo, though. So if you have to do that, that's the thing that you're able to do. But what you are more likely going to be doing is popping these. It has the same ability, so when you KO this, you get to place damage on your opponent's Pokemon. But instead of placing 50 onto one Pokemon, you place 130 onto any Pokemon that your opponent has. So you can KO Dreepies, Dracloaks, Charmanders, Charmeleons, any big threat that is scary to you. You can use these guys to stop them from ever being able to evolve, because you're stopping items from being played, so your opponent can't get to that Pokemon quickly, and you're KOing the Pokemon that are in play anyway. There's also some combos that you can do with these. So if you pop one of each, you're able to hit 180 damage, which KOs things like Lumineon V, Mew EX, things like that. If you're just popping two of these, you can KO a lot of different things. Any V Pokemon. If you've Badooed a couple times, most V-Star Pokemon. Basic EXs, you can pop two of these to KO. And at that point, you're actually just trading two prizes for two prizes. But what you're doing is you're choosing when to do that. So your opponent doesn't get any play around what you're doing at all. Then, of course, we have 4 Duskulls, because we need to be able to evolve them. And this is where people got confused. We're playing a 2/1/2 Charizard, and that looks pretty strange. Charmander, of course, just there to evolve into Charmeleon and Charizard. But Charmander doesn't do anything special on its own. But it's worth pointing out that for 2 fire energies, you can do 30. Get some focus in here. You can do 30, and that's enough to KO Badoo. So, worth pointing out, there's also a 60 HP Charmander that for 1 fire does 30 damage, which is enough to KO Badoo on its own. So we're debating switching one of these to one of that guy, but the only problem with that guy is he's very susceptible to being KO'd by a Dragapult if your opponent is able to get a Dragapult up, because Dragapult will place 60 damage on your bench, and that KOs Charmander with that attack that does 30 for 1 energy. So Charmeleon doesn't do anything special. He evolves into Charizard. Charmeleon is just there so that if we are being locked up by Badoo, we are able to evolve into this and keep playing the game. But we were talking about why it's important to give up prizes. Charizard has an attack that does a lot of damage. It does 180 damage, plus 30 for each prize that your opponent has taken. And even if your opponent hasn't voluntarily taken any prizes, you have forced them to take prizes by giving them prizes via Dusknoir's ability. So it's not uncommon for you to control the amount of damage that this Charizard will actually do. So if there's a point where you have to attack for 300 or 330, you're able to force your opponent to take prizes to let you do that. Whereas on their own, they would have probably not allowed you to do that. Also worth pointing out here, Charizard has an ability that when you evolve into it, you search your deck for up to 3 fire energies and you attach them where you'd like to go. That allowed us to be a little bit greedier on our energies. We played a pretty low count of them. We'll get to them in a bit here. But that ability is definitely big. If Charizard did not have that ability, this deck would look a lot different than it does. We're playing some cool guys that draw cards here. This is a very combo heavy deck, so sometimes when you're playing a deck like that, you'll open up hands that aren't so favorable. So Squawk allows you to use the ability Squawk and Seize. See if we can get that. Squawk, on your first turn and only on your first turn, you can discard your entire hand and draw a 6-card new hand. So Squawk lets you get an entirely new starting hand. Sometimes that can be a little scary if you have to throw away things that are important, but the alternative is that you just lose. So Squawk will at least let you play games where you otherwise wouldn't be able to. Fez is important. If on your opponent's last turn they KO'd any of your Pokemon, you just get to draw 3. It's very convenient. That does not work when you pop your own Dusknoir to give your opponent a prize card. Because that wasn't on your opponent's turn, doesn't work. But if they pop their own Dusk to KO one of your Pokemon, that would work. It doesn't need to be KO'd by an attack. Just at any point during your opponent's last turn, if they KO'd anything, you are able to draw 3 on your next turn. So Fez is very important. Fez is absolutely a card that will not be going anywhere. This was our weird thing that we added. We had some extra spaces to work with, and there was a few things that we had tossed around with those 2 spots. But we ended up landing on Arc V-Star. Arceus, not super important, doesn't really do a lot on its own, is also our worst starter, which is why we only wanted to play 1 of them instead of 2 of them. Arc V-Star has an attack technically, but we don't actually care what it does. We never want to be doing it. But the ability is very important. Once per turn, I should say once per game, you get a V-Star power or ability or anything. You get to use 1 V-Star per turn. And this V-Star ability, Starbirth, allows you to pick 2 cards out of your deck. Any 2. And again, most important, we wanted to be able to do something like this when we were being locked up by Badoo. So if your opponent is Badooing you, you are basically stuck with whatever you draw into, and that's about it. So Arc V-Star allows you to pick any 2 cards out of your deck, and that can be huge for keeping your turns going. Going forward, we play a lot of items. So we played 3 Pokestop. You discard the top 3 cards of your deck, and any items that you discard, you get to take back into your hand. The cool thing about this is if we discard any Pokemon, we actually don't really care about it because we play several ways to get them back. So it kind of lets you play out of your discard pile. More to come on that in just a minute. For supporters, we have some common staples. We have 4 copies of Iono. Iono is just a good card, especially as you're forcing your opponent to take prizes while you're item blocking them. So if you can get your opponent down to 1 or 2 prize cards left, which is kind of scary because that means they're close to winning, they're not actually close because you'll be able to Iono them to 1 and then swing in with something like Charizard. So they're really going to be stuck with 1 card plus whatever they draw for turn, and that's about it. Research is just a generically good draw supporter. We only play 3 of them because we would prefer to play Iono more often than this, but 3 is totally fine. Just being able to draw a lot is never a bad thing in Pokemon. And this was one weird thing that we played. Lana's. So Lana's Aid lets you get 3 Pokemon or basic energy back from the discard pile minus rule box Pokemon. So you can't get something like a Charizard or an Arc V-Star back, but you're able to get Dusk pieces back. So it allows you to keep evolving into different Dusk pieces and then forcing your opponent to take prizes off of them, and you can take KOs that way also. Lana's is very good in a deck just like this, and it was very good all week. Rare Candy lets you evolve directly from a basic to a stage 2. 4 of them is excellent. If we could, we'd play 5, but we can't. We played 4 Buddy Buddy Poffins. Poffin allows you to search for 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less. We have 3 Ultra Balls. We have 4 Ultra Balls. Ultra Ball allows you to discard 2 cards, which sounds like a big cost, but you get to pick any Pokemon out of your deck. So it allows you to put a lot of combos together. Ultra Ball is a very standard card in Pokemon. Nest Ball. We played 3. Nest Ball is kind of like Poffin. It lets you search for any basic Pokemon, though, regardless of HP, but only 1 of them, not 2 of them. And this is where I was talking about Pokestop and Pokestopping away Pokemon. We don't actually care if we Pokestop away Pokemon because we can just stretch it for Pokemon. Kind of lets you play out of your discard pile. The first inception of this deck actually played 4 Pokestop and 4 of these because we really don't care if we discard Pokemon. It just lets you search for a Pokemon out of your discard pile or a basic energy. It's almost always a Pokemon though. Very good. This is a card we would debate going back to 4 of. It would probably be at the cost of a Lana's Aid though, so we don't know about that. Up in the air on that one right now. Switches. We're playing 2. Switch is good. It's never bad to be able to switch things around, especially with Arc V-Star. Common strategy that your opponents could do is they could try to gust, so bring to the active spot your Arc V-Star and try to break your lock that way. So it's convenient to be able to get that Arc V-Star out of there. That's a card that we could also go back to 1 on, but it's just not bad. We have 4 one-of items. Hisuian Heavy Ball allows you to get a basic Pokemon from your prizes. So this is essentially for us a 4th nest ball. The amount of basics that we play, it's very likely that we prize a basic, and this just lets us get that basic out of our prizes. Super Rod allows you to put up to 3 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy from your discard pile into your deck. This will most often be the way that you get your fire energies back if you had to lose them early. And then we have 2 gust options. Counter Catcher will go over first. If you are losing, you're losing, as in your opponent has taken more prize cards than you, which again you're able to control with Dusk Pieces. You are able to gust one of your opponent's benched Pokemon to the active spot. In instances where this would be best is if your opponent has a large threat that you want to be able to KO with Charizard. You're able to give up KOs with Dusk Pieces, and then you catch it into the active spot, and you just KO it with Charizard. Ideally, you keep your lockup for as long as possible, but if you're KOing all of your opponent's Pokemon, you really don't care if you break your lock or not. And the other one, more proactive gust, is Prime Catcher. So you switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon with their active spot, and then you switch one of your own Pokemon with your active. So a common thing that comes up with this is you will catcher one of your opponent's Pokemon, and you will put Dusk Noir into the active. Then you end up KOing your own Dusk Noir, and then you get to promote whatever Pokemon that you want. So that is a common thing that comes up with this. This was easily one of the best cards in the deck. There wasn't actually a card in the deck that felt like we didn't play it to any big effect. So that's always a good sign. And then a scary low count of fire energy. Charizard people are always trying to greed out an extra space or 2. So at one point it was common for Charizard decks to play 8 fire energies, believe it or not. That sounds like a lot these days, but then it went down to 7, and then some people experimented with 6, and then 5 became very popular. 5 is actually standard currently, and now we're down to 4. So, I mean, we're not far away from Charizard just playing 2 fire energies. Charizard actually only costs 2 energies to play, so we're not far from that. There was a game yesterday where I prized 2 of them, and that game was a little dicey, but I won that game, so it worked out. But yeah, that was the deck. Very likely we will run at least the same concept back in London next weekend. If we cut anything, it would probably be one of the Lana's aids, and it would probably be for a stretcher. So it's the same effect, but one's an item and one's a supporter. You're limited to 1 supporter per turn, all the items that you want per turn. So that extra stretcher is weaker against other Badoo decks, but Badoo is not as popular as we expected it to be, so that stretcher might be just fine. And again, we might switch one of those Charmanders, find those guys, might switch one of these into the 60 HP version that has that attack that for 1 fire energy does 30. So might do that. We'll see. We'll give it some more games throughout the week and get it figured out.